Hey everyone, welcome back to Loopy Studio, and today I'm here to review Outer Banks Season 4, Episode 5, and it is called Albatross. This is the end of the first part of Season 4, so it's kind of our mid-season finale in a way. Overall, I think it was a pretty good mid-season finale. It left me wanting more. It left on a couple of big cliffhangers. It had a lot of big action moments in it. I think it was almost a perfect episode. I think the only thing that kind of brought it down for me was that ending. I have very mixed feelings on that I'll talk about at the end. But let's just kick things off. So we start off right where last episode ended. They have Terrence's body right in front of them, and Shoop is coming up. So the JJ and Shoop go hide, or JJ and Shoop go talk, and they hide Terrence behind the couch. I guess that was the best they could come up with. Shoop, for some reason, doesn't smell all the bleach that they used, and that's not super surprising considering he's not the smartest cop. Basically, Shoop kind of knows JJ's lying because he says that they were just there at the place the night Wes Jenner died, when that was not true. In fact, him and Kiara were in the hyperbaric chamber, and so that should at least provide an alibi for them. But basically we get JJ, he gets a letter, and we don't know what the letter is at that moment, but then he decides to disappear. It goes somewhere. He leaves behind a note, and Kiara says she's going to stay and wait for him. And then we have, put Terrence into the sea, sending him goodbye. I kind of wonder whether the whole Terrence thing will come back up later if they end up finding his body, but to me, I feel like they've kind of wrapped this plot line up, and I do feel bad for her a lot. I thought it was really sad that her father figure, she lost him. So basically we have John B., Sarah, Pope, and Cleo are now going to Charleston. We also have Sarah and John B. kind of talking about their future, and John B. wants to have kids, and Sarah says, "I'm 19, bro." And I mean, that was pretty funny. To me, like, I'm not even upset. Like, I know some people were like, okay, he's being like a jerk for that. No, to me, it's just cute stuff. And it's nice to actually see them acting like a couple and talking about coupley things instead of all that drama from last season, even in season 2. It's just so nice that there's just more normal stuff between them in this season. But basically, they get to Charleston. They go inside this church because they believe the blue crown is underneath. And then Pope and Sarah go down into it, and then they're stuck underground with all this water filling up. But before that happens, Leitner and his captain, they go down underneath and they grab some kind of scroll, and then they escape. They come through this different entrance that John B. happens to oversee. And then Leitner and his crew catch Cleo again, but then they're stopped, and then they escape, and then John B. is about to shoot Leitner, but then he has PTSD from his dad, and he's not able to. Now, I'm not going to lie, that was a great moment, with John B. and his confliction about that whole thing. I really liked that moment. That was underrated, too. I think that kind of got undershadowed, or even overshadowed, by the JJ reveal, because that was such a great moment from John B. And just that hesitation there, I really like that. And then water's flooding the area. Now, I guess they didn't find the blue crown, but they found some kind of scroll, so I guess that has something to do with the blue crown. But remember, Leitner and his crew, they're also on the same hunt, assumingly, for the blue crown, just like the Pogues are. So I think it's going to be a race to who can find the treasure the fastest, and they're kind of on each other's tails. So I do like that aspect of it. And then we have this whole JJ and Luke storyline. And this is where I think the episode kind of dragged down a bit for me. Basically, JJ catches up with Luke because the letter he received was about him. And then they're running from the cops the entire episode. And then we discover that Luke is not JJ's real dad, and his parents are Charles and Larissa Jenrette. And Larissa's father was Wes Jenrette. So that makes a lot of sense, actually, why Wes was looking at the computer and zooming in on JJ, and then when Charles like kind of put his hand on JJ's shoulder back in episode 2 and like gave him like a special look, like they were definitely dropping the clues. So this was interesting. And I don't know how I feel about it, just because I feel like, first of all, is it really necessary to the plot? Like, I mean, and I get it's like a twist because it means that JJ is a kook, which means that's how he grew up, technically. But like, I don't know. And it was not, I did not expect it at all. I just curious how that's gonna play out into everything. It was just a plot twist, and to me, I feel like they probably shouldn't have introduced two male villains, Lightner and Charles, Charles slash Chandler. To me, I feel like they should have just introduced one and had him be the bad guy and JJ's father. Like, to me, I don't think both were necessary, but that's just my opinion. To me, what was especially interesting is Charles is working with Holly, or not Holly, Hollis, who's the one who's trying to work with Rafe. Now, I don't know what that means or what the connection is. No idea. I mean, they kind of set that up, but again, we don't know enough about him. Like, we've seen way more of Lightner, and I don't know what he's up to or what his purpose is. We know that Chandler is JJ's dad, but why did they introduce both of them? I feel like that was a bit odd. I mean, we know they're kind of on opposite sides, or supposedly, we don't really know, because to me it sounded like the Gen Reds were kind of middle ground, and then we have these two other teams finding the crown. That's what it seems to me. So technically, Lightner and Chandler might not even be connected at all. I don't know. I assume we'll see everything kind of cross paths in part 2. But the other plot line going on here is that Rafe is trying to be a better person, and he wants to make up with Sarah and put his family back together. Now, I think it might be a little too late for this, and it kind of came out of nowhere. And I feel like he shouldn't have done that, or he shouldn't have gotten into business with Hollis if he wanted to put his family back together. But a part of me also thinks he's like being for real, and he just doesn't know what he's getting himself into with Hollis. Again, the Hollis storyline I don't really like. I think it's kind of stupid. But I think he genuinely cares about Sophia. I don't think... I mean, I think he made a mistake by talking bad about her to Topper. But I think he actually likes her, and he just doesn't want to admit it to his friends. It's one of those things because she's a pogue and he feels kind of embarrassed, but I think he actually likes her. And then there was this scene between Rafe and Kiara at the surf shop, because remember, Kiara stayed behind to wait on JJ. And I like this moment too. Fans were pointing out online, oh, the sexual tension between these two. I didn't really see it. I mean, we did get to see a little bit of resolution, I guess, to when she threw him off the boat last season, when they were both taken by, I don't remember what his name was, Sign, yeah. That was so long ago, I hardly remember that. But, and, you know, Rafe's being like, oh, I want to, like, be, like, make up with my sister and blah, 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 and Kiara just is very sus about this whole thing, and she actually has a knife underneath the table, and, you know, it's like he's, like, flirting with her a little bit, and she's just not having it. That whole interaction was kind of tense, though. I was like, ooh, like, wow. And not even much happened in it, but you can just tell, like, the tension between them. Now, I am curious what's going to happen with Sarah and Rafe. Like, I would like some sort of progress for them. Now, I don't know what that looks like, considering everything that Rafe's done to her. I don't see how they could have a good relationship, but I'm seated to watch whatever they can come up with. I mean, I think it would be cool if they could kind of patch things up. I mean, even if it's not, like, the same as how it used to be, because I think that's impossible. But, you know, some questions lingering are, what's Charles and Hollis? Like, what's the connection there? What's going to happen now that JJ knows that Luke's not his father and Chandler is? Will Pope and Sarah make it out? I hope so. I know they will. And what's the scroll that Lightner and the captain took? So a lot of cliffhangers. I mean, this episode was crazy. I loved it. I think the only thing to me was the ending thing, just because it, like, I don't know. I feel like they should have made Chandler a bit prominent of a character, and it would have been a better plot twist because we would have cared more. But we don't know anything about him. Like, we've seen more of Lightner, so I don't know. I'm curious though. But yeah, comment down below, what did you guys think of this episode? And I'll be back for part 2 next month. So yeah, Pogues for life, and catch up on part 1, catch up on all my other reviews, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, everyone.